my people? You know what? It's Don Tony Teflon back at you. Another one. And this one is we're going to be talking about the deleted scene that we just seen, that people seen at the Game of Thrones convention. I don't know if it has a name, official name, but Game of Thrones convention it's been all over the place. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're also going to talk about other things in House of the Dragon season 2. I am joined by the one, the only. She's my girl from way back in the day. We've been here for a long time. She's been here with me for a long time. We've been doing this one. The one, the only. She just came back, thanks to me. Christina the Sphinx.
Yes, thanks to you. Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. Talk about this deleted scene.
Now,
It's
Christina
short, but
usually
it was cool.
it was. Now, Christina usually does a stream herself on Sunday. So if you're looking for someone to stream with, always check out Christina the Sphinx. Go ahead, subscribe to her channel. Usually every Sunday she does a stream. She's with AK, she's with her sisters and all that stuff. So definitely take a look. Before we get into the scene, let's say what up to the people who are joining us right now. We got Carl Snark in the building rocking with us. John Haymaker is in here rocking with us. Sonic your boy is up in here. Crystal is in the building rocking with us right now. Magic. Magic's SUFI is in the building rocking. I guess that's how you say it. I don't know how else to say it. He's in the building rocking with us. There's a bunch of people here. Thank you all for coming. This is just something I just threw up here like 15 minutes ago. And Eric Graham is in the building. Let's highlight you. He's up in the building rocking with us. You know, I just threw it up 15 minutes ago. Decided to come up here and do that. So make sure you smash that like button for your boy and your girl up in here rocking right now. And we'll get into this situation. So let's watch the scene together. If people have not seen it, I'm not going to leave you waiting. If you haven't seen the scene, let's take a look at this scene, and then we will talk about it as soon as we're done.
War is coming. We must collect Rhaena and leave Dragonstone at once.
And go where?
The safety of High Tide.
High Tide won't be safe. The Greens will assume we'll declare for
Be
Rhaenyra.
safer than Dragonstone.
If war is coming, it's coming for all of us. We cannot hide from it.
I've suffered too much loss, Baela. I could not endure another.
I am a dragon rider. Like my mother, and father, and you. If the Greens reach to usurp our Queen's throne, then they must be answered with fire and blood. Do you think I jest?
I just saw my daughter for the first time in years. War is coming.
That is it. All right. Well, let's get into let's talk about this. I hope everyone was able to hear it clearly and everything else. Let's go a little bit bigger and keep it up there for. So, Christina, seeing that scene, to me, they should have kept that in the show. Really should have kept it in there. There's a lot of things I think you can get away with, but this showed a lot of stuff. I wish they truly left that in there. How did you feel about this scene?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely belonged in the show. It's the one time we get any sort of character development for Baela. You know, see her personality, see her fierceness, that she's so much like her mom. We didn't in the show, like Baela and Rhaena like don't say or do anything. So it was kind of nice to see her like actually like showing who she is.
Yeah, you just see her hanging around with the little betrothed and doing things like that, but you don't see her for who she is. And in Rhaenys, it's like, it's the first time I've seen my daughter in years. So, it shows you how long it's been since their mother's been dead and everything else. Obviously, the age jump, but it shows her think about that. Like, we never really see her think about that. And we got a chance to see her reflect on that, and everything. And listen, Rhaenys, the actress, Eve Bestis, kills every scene she's in. She does a great job. Thank you for the super chat. Kelly Johnson says, Rhaenys will pay for murdering bystanders. I don't know about that, if she's going to pay for that. And if she did murder bystanders, no doubt about it.
Yeah, but nobody's going to do anything about that. They don't care about the small folk.
No, small folk, it just shows you how much they care about the small folk. They don't care about it. And that scene was funny to me because when they were doing it, she was trying to escape, and then they were like, "Close the doors," and they were like, "No, open them, motherfuckers, open them."
Why were they closing the doors? I never understand. Like, there's a dragon in the room. People are trapped in. The first instinct is like close the doors so nobody can get out, or
They
at
don't close
least
that
the dragon
motherfucker.
can get out.
That's like having we don't have anything here that we could say, but that's like having a lion in a circus and it breaks free. It starts going crazy while you're there. Motherfucker's headed for the. You don't lock the doors. Let the
Close
lion out.
the-
Let the lion out. Let that motherfucker go.
Yeah, I found that hilarious. And Otto was like, "Open the doors!
I was
Open the doors!"
no doubt about it. All right, so going back to this, yeah, you see her personality and you see what she's capable of. I think maybe because they didn't introduce her dragon, was a dragon, Moon Dancer or something like that. I think a dragon's called, and
Yeah,
they didn't introduce it. Maybe that's why they cut them. I'm trying to see that. Why do you think? Because it's hard for me to see why. I mean, besides time constraint, I could have found a way to add this, get this scene in there. I could have definitely found a way. But what do you think? Why do you think I don't know if he said why. Why do you think that scene wasn't necessary? If you had to guess.
I think because it doesn't affect the plot at all.
Mhm.
It doesn't move the story along. It really doesn't matter. No matter what, Rhaenys and Corlys already decided to side with Rhaenyra. She doesn't need to have this conversation, with Baela convincing her to go fight for the blacks. And it's like it was deleted and it wasn't missed. Like it's a good scene, but like it was fine without it. The story still progressed just fine, and I think that's why. Just because we didn't need it.
Yes, it wasn't 100% important, but to me it was 100% important. Especially going forward when they have. We're not going to give too many spoilers, but they have such a pivotal role to play. Like they're going to be Baela, especially in this. You know what I mean? That it may be shocking when people see her act a certain way, like because from what we've seen no her getting mad. We've seen no hostility out of her. She's just always just been happy go lucky, both for her and her sister, both happy go lucky and everything else. Even better to say, they have a badass side to them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They have something going on here that so it wouldn't have been shocking. Like these chicks, she's ready to go to war. She's like, I'm a dragon rider. These motherfuckers, let's give them fire and blood. Let's kill these motherfuckers. What the
And
fuck
it's
we
gonna
gonna
be jarring when she pops off because we're not used to that. We didn't know that she has this fiery side to her. So when she pops off and it's battle time, it's gonna be like, oh, okay, Baela on the dragons, okay.
They look it down like that. Oh yeah, they look it down. They look it down for us. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I wish they would have left the scene. We're gonna, in case we'll wait a little bit longer and maybe we'll play the scene again if people have not seen it. Hyam Alice is saying that it's more character builder than plot advancement. I think we will have more chances, hopefully, to see more Baela be herself for her mother and father's daughter. I hope so, and I think you're right. And quite possibly, as Christina said, maybe that's the case. Maybe it did not push the plot. But there's a lot of things that they did that didn't push the plot. Like having this dude jerk off the window. How did that push the plot? It didn't push any plot. If you're trying to show that he just didn't give a fuck, I mean, I think we've already seen that. I don't think you had. I mean, him raping the chick in there showed he didn't give a fuck. Him having babies sitting in the fighting pits showed he didn't give a fuck. There's a lot of other things that showed he didn't give a fuck, but they still put that scene of him jerking off out the window and stuff. So, I think that was more of a character development scene. I think these chick deserved a little bit more character. Now, Aegon's a more important character at the time, so I can understand it. But I'm just saying they could have moved something else out to put this scene in. I truly wish that this scene would have made it in.
You're exactly right, though. Aegon is a more important character in the overall story, so his development takes precedence, over somebody like Bela, because we need to understand his depravity, like just how shitty of a person he actually is, going in, because he's about to be the king. Correction, he is the king now, and we need to know just like how much of a dirtbag he actually is.
He's a dirtbag. I think that did show it and everything. I think, I've said that myself, John Haymaker. I think you're using my line there.
Ew, more kids out the window than Jamie Lannister.
It's okay. I would say what up to Shelley Howard in the building, Jordan. Thank you. You're not late to the party. We're gonna play. We're talking about the scene that we've seen, and we'll play it again for you right now if you haven't seen it. Let's go.
We must collect Raina and leave Dragonstone at once.
And go where?
The safety of High Tide.
High Tide won't be safe. The Greens will assume we'll declare for
Be
Rhaenyra.
safer than Dragonstone.
If war is coming, it's coming for all of us. We cannot hide from it.
I've suffered too much loss, Bela. I could not endure another.
I am a dragon rider, like my mother and father and you. If the Greens reach to usurp our queen's throne, then they must be answered with fire and blood. Do you think I jest?
I just saw my daughter for the first time in years.
You know what I like about this scene when they show that scene like that. You know what I like about it. Like when she's saying the fire and blood, and you look at like Eve Best, and she just gives that sigh. She's like, like it just sells it to me. And another thing, in the beginning when it's playing in the theater, you hear people talking, and then all of a sudden everyone just shuts up. Like the scene gets serious enough to make it, people are laughing and talking. All of a sudden, woof, when you hear the gravitas of the actors in there, it shuts everybody up. You know what I mean? So I personally think that they should have left the scene in there and everything else. I wish they would have left that scene in there 100% without a shadow of a doubt.
I love Rainey smiling like the proud grandma. Watching Bela like ready to just pop off, and she's just smiling at her so proud, like,
Hey, little baby,
my little baby, you want to go kill people.
She wants to go and burn everybody. Oh, she's
You
such
want
a
to burn them all, my sweet baby.
She's such a little girl. You want to burn them too? Come on with Grandma. Grandma show you how to burn them. We'll burn them all together.
We'll kill them all. Grandma show you.
That's exactly what she's doing. No doubt about it. That's exactly how she's played it and everything else.
She's just smiling. Bela's just going on her rant. She's just smiling like,
And Rainey's still dressed straight. Like she won't take her armor off, Rainey. It's like Rainey's like, I'm keeping this armor on all the time. I don't know what's going to happen.
She got spooked or something. She's like, I'm keeping my armor on at all times. Like the Greens are coming.
I'm sleeping in this motherfucker. The motherfuckers ain't catching me off guard again. It is not going to.
But you know what? Where did she get her armor from in the first place?
When she escapes, I think it's underneath her cloak. I think she's wearing it the whole time. I think I would have to assume that someone brought it to her there, because she had a riding suit on when she went to King's Landing. And then when they broke her out of the room, she pops up with the armor on when she pops up with the dragon. So I have to suspect that they brought it to her, because you can't dress yourself in armor by yourself.
No, you need help. You need assistance.
Yeah, you need assistance. You know what I mean? It's it's impossible to put that stuff on unless you're not going to have it all strapped in the back, unless the back's going to be wide open, just flapping in the wind. So she definitely had to have some type of assistance. So most likely, I would say they brought it to her when she put it on under the cloak when they were trying to escape and stuff, and she just had it on there, and that's just the way it is and stuff. But yeah,
I just assumed that when she was in the cloak that she just had on regular clothes underneath, and so when she popped up with armor on top of the dragon, because they weren't even planning to take her to the dragon, like they were planning to take her to the docks to get on a boat to get the F out of there. So I just didn't understand why she would wear armor to go get on a boat. But I guess if it's
Now,
dangerous
someone's trying to
times,
say her armor was at the dragon pit. I
that's what I
can't.
thought.
If it's at the dragon pit, then how did she get in it? She couldn't have got in it. She couldn't have strapped herself in it if it was at the dragon pit.
They have squires assigned at the dragon pit to put armor on anybody that shows up and needs to get on a dragon.
Whoever shows up, listen, it's all the time this happens. And let's look at it. Obviously they're very rich, they're lords and like, but this shit ain't. This ain't a McDonald's wearer suit. This is expensive. This is not what they give you at McDonald's when you start working, right? This armor costs a grip and shit. Especially, with all the sigils and everything else and all this fine stuff. I mean, is it Rhaegar's with the rubies in it? No, it's not that expensive. And
Yeah.
I don't, may not be as expensive as Damon with his dragon helmet. You know what I mean? But it's pretty expensive here. So I don't know I can't tell you that it wasn't at the dragon pit. To me, I just don't know how she would have been able to put that on if it was at the dragon pit. I just don't see that. All right. I would think she would have had to have it on before that, and they had the cloak, and that guy helped her put it on. And that was it. Like, put this armor on, we're gonna smuggle you out in case something happens. You can catch it. They realize who you are, you can catch a couple in the chest, you'll be all right. You ain't gotta worry about it and stuff and everything.
I can see that.
That's what I would think and everything else. So Michael Brewer is saying, thank you for the stream. I'm happy to listen to some House of the Dragon talk while I study economics. Well, thank you for taking your time and rocking with us while we do. Truly appreciate that. Carl Karsnock says, I think she changed in a room where her armor was displayed in one scene before they went to the pit. That is why she had the big cloak on herself. I mean, that's what I said. I think it was in the room. And that's why she put the cloak on her. So I agree with you 100% on that, sir. I think we're right.
I understand. I agree. I take that answer.
There it is. So that being said and everything else, I wonder if I'm sure that's not the only deleted scene. I'm sure they had a bunch. You think they're going to release a bunch of deleted scenes, maybe on the Blu-ray or anything like that? I mean, people buy Blu-rays anymore?
I thought we would have got at least a couple today.
I mean, would you buy a Blu-ray right now? Like, I wouldn't buy it.
I would for
really?
House of the Dragon. Just for the extra content, I would.
I wouldn't. I'm done. I wouldn't buy any physical copy of a Blu-ray at all. I mean, if I could buy it like on Amazon for streaming and I could stream all that stuff, then I would do it, because that, to me, I'd rather have it where I could take it anywhere I want it. You know what I mean? And if I wanted to burn a copy of it, then I could do that myself. But I would not pay for Blu. I mean, I remember when I got like the first season of Game of Thrones DVD set, because it wasn't Blu-rays at that time. It was DVDs back then. Blu-ray didn't exist when Game of Thrones came out. When Rome came out, Blu-rays didn't exist. I remember that first season of Game of Thrones cost $79.99 for that one DVD.
Damn.
And I remember that the Rome was the most expensive one. It was $110 for the first season of Rome on DVD. $110. I bought all that. I bought The Wire, the whole seasons of The Wire, and everything else. So it was expensive back then to buy those things, just to have those. Now you can find DVDs for $9.99 in Walmart bin. They give you the whole season.
That big ass bin with all the DVDs in there.
Motherfuckers digging in there.
You can find some $5 DVDs in there.
You can't even make it to the bottom. You're like,
enough.
Try to make it to the bottom, but you can't. Like, it's all W's, all the same ones.
You know what though? I would probably also get it just for collection purposes too. Just because I have the full box set of Game of Thrones, which I never use. Like, if I want to watch Game of Thrones, I just stream HBO Max and just watch it. But I do own the box set just for the sake of owning it.
Yeah, I have The Wire. Like I have a DVD stand right there, on right up against the wall, and I have it for the Rome and The Wire. Basically, like I display those. That's what displayed, and a couple of other movies and stuff like Dirty Dancing that I like, and all these movies. But I never watch them on that. But this for me to look at physically, so I can see it. I like seeing every season of The Wire. Do. I like seeing that stuff. And Game of Thrones, I think
It's satisfying.
yeah, I think Game of Thrones, I think I bought it to season 5. I think was the last ones I bought was season 5. But the big things about the DVDs and everything else was really more of the history and lore. Like you wanted to see that back then. Like you wanted to see those. And I don't think they're going to have those anymore because what other history and lore would you have on there? You wouldn't have the Jordan's rating. So I don't think you would have that. So I don't think you're going to get that. So I don't know if it's really going to sell that well without those features. If it's just the season, will it look better than streaming? I'm sure it'll look 1,000 times better. You know what I mean? I'm sure everything will look really crisp, but I don't know if that's
Yeah.
enough to get people to buy it now. I think you have to give people a little bit more and stuff like that. People have, what is my favorite season of The Wire? Season 3, I would say, is my favorite season of The Wire. I like season 3. What is season 3? Yeah, season 3 when Michael Marlowe first got there and everything else. Was that season 3? No. It was season 4. Season 4 of The Wire. It's the red box. Yeah, because season 1, season 2 was the docs. Season 3 is when Avon just got out of jail, and then the next season is when Marlowe takes over. That one right there was the best season out of the wall, without a doubt. I love that one at all. That was the best. But I think season 2, everyone hates it. It's very underrated. I always talked about this doing the whole Wire thing, and I still may do it. I got time on my hands now to stream a lot, so maybe I'll start putting out some Wire perspective videos and everything else like that. People saying the Hot D DVD is $34.99 at Target. That is, they come a long way.
My, how the mighty have fallen. Jesus.
Yeah, they have come a long way to chop that price out. Boy. It wasn't like that in my day, goddamn.
Hell no.
Fuck it, these motherfuckers sucking me. Everything else. All right, so let's go through some. We're talking about season 1 real quick. What was your favorite part about? I didn't have a chance to talk to you about. So season 1, it's a big season. What was your favorite part about season 1? If you could pick one. I mean, a lot of things happen.
My favorite part, I'm not gonna lie, like Viserys really grew on me.
All right. Viserys.
Like I enjoyed, maybe it was the acting, but in his conflict of always trying to be a people pleaser, but still like maintain peace,
Mhm.
I felt very empathetic toward Viserys. I didn't feel that sort of empathy towards anybody else. I love Rhaenyra,
Mhm.
and Allison's cool. I can see where she's coming from. But for Viserys, I really felt like he was very conflicted and really just wanted everybody to be happy.
Yeah, I agree that I thought that he definitely grew. I thought in the beginning he portrayed a weak king. I didn't see him as a king really until he did the long walk to the throne. Like that scene right there made me like that's the most kingly thing I've seen him do. When he, suffered that whole time and he said, I'm going out for my baby girl one
Yeah.
time. I don't care how long it takes me to walk to this throne or how much pain I'm going to be in. At this time, the man has lost a foot. He's lost one nut has fall off. Half his dick is
Wait,
gone.
is that canon that he lost the nut? Did they say that in the show?
I think they did say it.
I don't recall that part.
I think they did say it. He lost everything. His lower lip was gone. His eyebrows were off his face.
He was off his meds.
He was off his bed. He was done. And, it took him a while to get down there. It took him some time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But he got there. And he sat that goddamn throne. And basically like, listen, this shit was decided. Why are we even here? Why are we
Ben,
even?
I love that line. He said, "I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Why we're here discussing an issue that's already been decided? Like, why are y'all even meeting up? Like, what's the whole point of this?"
John Heyman wants to know left or right nut. I heard it was the left.
You're lying.
That's what I heard. That's why he was limping. He was limping on that side. That's why he had that limp over there, because that left nut was going,
Also, I didn't know losing a nut makes you limp.
Well, it throws your balance off. You know what I mean? So, it throws your balance off a little bit. It's kind of like when you're a baby and when your babies first start walking, and they're not used to the gravitational rotation of the earth. That's what happens when you lose a nut. It throws your balance off and stuff to that side, and that's why he's limping to that
Wow.
side. That's what happens.
Wow.
That's a
This is
technical
new information for me.
That's a technical term. I'm not just speaking here. I know this, stuff. I am the Don, and that's very technical and stuff. So, listen,
I
you guys
understand
learn.
that.
You guys learn stuff when you rock with the Don, Tony Teflon. You know what I mean? You learn stuff, and this is what I want y'all to do. Everybody in the chat and everything else. All the people that are doing that, having a good time at this con. I've seen pictures from the con. I've seen some videos from this con. So I want y'all to do and everything else. Number one, subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, and subscribe to Christina's channel. If you haven't done that, hi Allison. She's saying Tony knows about nuts. I have two of them. Yes, I do. I have two of them, so I do know about it. I know about nuts. I have them. So when you have them, you know about them. That's just what it is. Stuff, But go to the HBO Twitter page and tell them that you want Tony Teflon to host some of these panels in the next convention. Go there, tag me, and tag them and say, hey, HBO, Tony Teflon, the longest running Game of Thrones channel on all of YouTube, Teflon TV, you should have him host some of these panels. Let's make this happen. If we put enough boots on the ground, HBO will have no choice but to say something back. Let's make it happen. You go out there to the HBO and you put me up in there and everything else. I'm trying. Goddamn, why do you think computers always want to update you at the worst?
At the worst times. The worst times.
Like, what are you trying to do? You see what I'm doing? I'm using it. Do it when I'm not using it. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. Let's get this thing done. Put the boots on the ground and let's get that going. What's going on, Crystal? In the building, what's going on with you? Glad that you can make it. Glad to anyone who got it. That's right. Rally. Go House of the Dragon. I could be the House of the Dragon podcast. If give me the House of the Dragon podcast, I'll show you how to do a real one. Not these guys who do it. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying they're not me. And I'm just saying that if you put me on there in the stage, I guarantee it. Hashtag make Tony Teflon the panel, be on the panel. Just give me one panel with one of them, and I'll prove it. Just give me one panel. I'll do it for free.
You want to be on the panel, or are you trying to host the panel?
I want to host the panel. I want to host it. Do it. I'll do it for free. And when I do a great job, you can pay me after. That's what I just want to host it. Pay for me to get there. Pay for my hotel, and buy me a 40-ounce. And I'll rip that panel fucking down. straight
You
up.
got the 40-ounce.
All right, so I would say one of my favorite scenes from House of the Dragon season 1 was the dinner scene. I love the Last Supper scene because it after all of that we've seen from the king, before he basically dies and goes to bed and it's over, he's seen everything that he wanted to see. He actually seen his whole family getting along at one time. They were all getting along. Everyone was loving each other. Everybody was having fun. The kids were dancing with each other. No one was fighting him. He finally got to see what he wanted, and I just thought that when it just conveyed really well. Like, he really did an amazing job. And how did you feel about that scene?
I felt like it was it's one of my favorite scenes. I thought it was really awesome that Viserys got to die in peace, even though it was all fake. But believing that his family was reunited and everybody was happy again. I mean, Alicent and Rhaenyra were laughing and giggling, like all the kids were just hanging out and chilling. Of course, shit went left when he went to bed, but he doesn't know that. As far as he knows, when he went to bed, everything was good. He gave
That's it.
a speech. He showed his busted ass face
Mm-hmm.
and got his point across to his family that they need to be a family and stop fighting. And they did for that short time. And it's really cool that that's his last memories, were of his family actually being cordial to each other.
That's all he ever wanted from the beginning. It's all he wanted was everyone to get along, everyone to love each other. And then it came down to the end of his wife misinterpreting what he was saying in the fever dream to put all of this in check. Now, even Otto was getting along at that dinner. You know what I mean? They would even get along with Otto. Like, it was set in stone. They made pledges. We're going to marry this one to this one. We're going to do this. Everything's going to be fine. Let's just get it done and everything else. Besides that, let me ask you this question. Do you think that Rhaenyra should have just married Aegon and all this ends? Do you think she should have just accepted it? When Otto proposed that, you think she just should have said, you know what, let's just do it. Let's get it out the way. I'll still be the queen. He'll be the king consort. Because Otto just wants his bloodline on the throne. That's what he's going for. He just wants someone with his blood, Hightower blood, to be sitting on the Iron Throne.
And also, Otto just doesn't want Daemon on the Iron Throne.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want Daemon nowhere near the Iron Throne.
So he's doing anything he can to make sure that Rhaenyra, okay, she's there, fine. Let's secure her claim, marry her to Aegon, and then that'll reassure the hierarchy, and they'll be good to go. So I feel like the smarter move would have been for Rhaenyra to go ahead and marry him. He was a baby, John Haymaker. Yes, he was a baby, but he will mature. He will grow over time.
When the king had the chance to marry the baby girl, right?
Yeah, she was 12 years old.
And he didn't want to marry her because she was too young. But you seen what she grew up to be. And she was hot as hell. And she was producing children. All you had to do was just wait. Now, you can have things to play with until they get to that age.
Yeah.
You can
They're royalty. Like, they can do what the F they want. Like,
yeah. And Aegon, and look, Aegon is slinging that dick. So it wasn't like you're going to have to worry about Aegon not fucking you.
As soon as his ass reached puberty, he was probably going to be all over Rhaenyra.
All over you. He would have been all over her trying to do anything.
Trying to hump her at any chance he got.
Anything. Like my friend, I have a friend. And she just told me, like, because it snowed up here. She's like, if she hits me up, she's like, God damn it, I was walking my dog and I fucking slipped and fell. I said, oh, no, you're right. She said, I am. But as soon as I fell, my dog started humping my leg. I was like, well, he tried to take his shot.
He waited for when she was injured.
He was trying to kick the dog away. Trying to fuck her
The
leg.
dog was like, she's down. Now's my chance.
Now's my chance. Gotta go for it. This is it. This is I've been waiting for this.
I would not trust that dog any longer.
I was waiting for this goddamn moment.
He's like, there she is on the ground. It's my time.
Now let's go. Now's my chance.
That's gross.
But that reminded me of him. That's what he probably would have been like with Rhaenyra. He probably would have just been about it, like trying his best. So it wouldn't have been no problem with that. Because look where she's ended up, having these bastard children and everything else. And I'm sure she loves the children, but it is what I think her best bet probably, if she wanted to prevent it and still take the throne, she should have married Aegon, just like the king should have married Corlys's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way it should have went down.
But she was still in her young bratty phase at that time. She was like, I don't want to get married. Da, da, da. Like, that's one of my least favorite parts about Rhaenyra is her whole, oh, woe is me. I have to marry some high lord and be the queen. Like, she complains all the time. And if you notice, everybody she complains to, nobody has sympathy for her. Like, she says it to Alicent, like, oh my God, her royal progress. She was like, that shit sucked. And Alicent's like, oh, I'm sorry that every lord in the land wants your hand. Like, oh, poor baby. And she says it to Damon, and Damon's like, there's worse things that you could be going through right now than having to choose your own husband. Like, she was free to choose her own husband. Women didn't get that privilege most of the time.
See, he said, listen, go around, look at everybody, feel everybody out. Whoever you want, you got. You can have.
Yeah, basically.
Whoever, it wasn't like she had lack of suitors. Everywhere she went, there was 100 motherfuckers like, I got you, I got you, I got you, I got you. You know what I mean? But she wanted to be, because she's about herself. She only cared about what mattered to her and not what matters to her. Like that's why Aemon, like one of Aemon, you see what he says, like, I should be king. I'm the one who studied the histories. I'm the one who tried to keep the family strong. I would have married my sister if I kept the family strong. I'm the one who knows what that means. She wasn't trying to keep the family strong. She was just doing what was best for her. And she was like, it doesn't matter. This is best for me. And that's it. That's why she had to have the shotgun wedding. When it all said and done, it was supposed to be this big lavish affair and everything else. And in the end, she had to have a shotgun wedding. And then she just went and had an affair with someone. And I thought that was something that could have been handled better too. Like her and Harwin. We didn't see any type of love connection from them at all.
They didn't show them flirting, no little looks, no eyes, like looking across the room or anything, like nothing. Then all of a sudden, they got 3 kids.
Out of nowhere. It's all of a sudden 3 kids. Boom. Just like that,
I mean, if you don't know better, you wouldn't even know who Harwin was. He had like 2 scenes.
Yeah, he had one where he was ripping the rabbit's head off. And then after that, he went to go rescue her in the brawl.
And when he called her, when they were in Flea Bottom, and she had ate the food or whatever and was running away, and she ran into him, and he like let her go. But aside from that, like no interaction, no anything, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, boom. And then even after they had the kids, there still didn't seem to be much affection between them in the first, like at all.
No, he just comes in the room and the husband
loves
leaves.
Up on the kids.
He hugs the kids and everything else, and he's doing all that. And it's just like, it's disrespectful and it's beneath her station. And that's why she shouldn't have, you can't, when it comes down to ruling, and then you want to rule and everything else, especially in time period that they're trying to portray, it's not about you. It's about the kingdom, right? It's like, you can't just do what you want. The president of the United States can't just go out there and sleep with the Kim Kardashian because he wants to. It's not a good look, right? It's not a good look. That's a bad look for the country. You can't have Kim Kardashian as a first woman. Not a good look. It's not going to work.
No.
Right? So you have to, nothing against Kim. She's good for what she does. Kim, you come chill with me anytime. But I'm just saying, it's just not a good look. You can't do that. And you can't just have what you want just because this is the way it is. You have to be able to put your own personal feelings and thoughts aside for the betterment of the whole country, and she's not willing to do that. You know what I mean? Michael Brewer says the Kennedys were on that stuff with Marilyn Monroe, right? So no and yes. Like, you're right and you're wrong at the same time. So he had the first lady, Jacqueline Bouvier, right? Onassis. He had a perfect first lady. She probably the most famous first lady in the history of the United States is his wife, Jacqueline Bouvier Onassis, right? Whatever, no, something with a B, right? Definitely Jacqueline Kennedy. Set trends, set fashion trends. Everyone loved her. He tried to have an affair. He did have an affair with Marilyn Monroe on the side, right? So that's the difference. He didn't try to divorce his wife and bring Marilyn Monroe in the White House. He didn't try to pull that. He just fucked her on the side. He had his first lady. You know what I mean? So I think that's the difference. You know what I mean? The situation. You always gonna have, you can have your son. Bill Clinton had his Monica, right? You can have your son, but his wife was Hillary, right? And so you can have your son. You just can't get caught. You just can't get caught. You have to.
You can't be having babies.
You can't be having babies, and you can't be blowing your load on women's dresses.
Yeah,
right?
you
You gotta know better than that.
And Allison was right when she said that. She said having one kid that looks like this was a mistake, but having 3, that's a fucking insult.
Yeah, you're going way beyond when you do. Way
you're doing too much. Don't you know about Boonty? Your dad gave you some before. Drink that shit after every night that you're with Harwin.
Or just tell them to pull out.
Pull out is not a 100% effective method of birth control.
It is, unless you're a premature ejaculator, right? And something I'm not. But if you're one of those people, then I think you would have the problem. But you can pull out. But listen, it's every man in the chat will say it's a hard thing to do. It's hard. It's
pull out game week.
Yeah, that. you got to know what you're doing. It's hard. It's easy. It's hard.
You got to time it just right.
Yeah, it's a technique. You have to master that. That's not something that you just you got to master that whole thing and everything else. Before that, because when you get that tingle man tells you that was your last stroke, and once you get that tingle man hit you in that last stroke, you gotta be quick with it. And that's it.
Was that the sound? Is that the sound?
That's the sound you gotta do. And that's the way it's gotta be. If you don't, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. That's how you get yourself in trouble. You don't want to get yourself in trouble, man. You want to get yourself in everything. Listen, man. That's right. Pastor, the doctors here. I'm telling you about the nut therapy. I'm telling you about the pull-out game. You're learning stuff.
Exactly. It's not guaranteed. Just like they said, it's not. You can get pregnant from the pre-cum that comes out before.
Yeah, that's the premature ejaculators.
Just the juices that flow out of the penis before you actually ejaculate can contain semen that can knock you up. I promise. Not that I know from experience, but I'm just saying.
I got not me. That stuff is a lie. I'm not self-control here. I'm good on that stuff. All right. Anyway, so back to House of the Dragon. I was talking about the scenes and everything else and why we do not certain things. But one thing I heard a lot of people that had problems with the show, people who didn't read the books, was that they didn't like the time jumps. They didn't like the time skips. They said it was hard to follow for them. How did you feel about the time skips and the time jumps?
I could understand from a non-book reader that it was jarring in heart. I mean, some characters have like 3 actors over time. Like that's a lot to keep track of. There's already a lot of people. Everybody's names sound the same. Trying to keep track of who is whose daughter and is the cousin and the uncle and the niece. Like you're trying to keep track of all this stuff, and then boom, okay, now it's 6 years later. Here's new kids. Now try to figure out who these kids are. And then boom, 10 years later. Now we're all grown up. Try to figure out who all these grown-ups are. So I could understand. I followed it fine because I already knew. But if I didn't already know, like I might have been a little confused.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I spoke to people who would say that. I could definitely see it. But I don't know. That's why to me, I thought that, and I understand that they really wanted to introduce the main cast in season 1. And I understand they wanted to end it on Jace's death. Like they wanted to end it with the Dance of Dragon because they're only doing 4 seasons. So they had to move it there. But I wish they would have maybe done 5 seasons and not introduced the main cast until season 2 and done the whole thing with the younger cast and then moved it from that maybe the last episode after that, then bring in the main cast after that. I've done something like that.
So how would that season end? What would be the big finale moment if it wasn't Luke dying?
I mean, I gotta think about it. I got to think about it. I mean, you could have ended it. Yeah, the king can't do that with the king dying. Can't. It's hard. You're correct. It would be hard. I would have to think about it. I mean, you'd have to age him up maybe. I don't know. It would be hard. It's a hard thing. It's a hard call. And there's not a lot of dialogue when you look at the Fire and Blood book. That only going off a couple. It's only a couple of chapters. Dying of the dragons and everything else like that. You know, this happens. That I don't want to say the names of the chapters because it gives stuff away. But yeah. So it definitely would be hard to do without a shadow of a doubt. I understand why they did it, but I would have. I like I like Millie Alcock. I like the young actor. I would like to see them again. Maybe they'll bring them back with more flashbacks or something like that. But
you know what? I like the adult actors too. I thought they were really good as well. I think everybody was super well cast.
Yeah, I thought that young Allison, older Allison. I like young Allison, but I like older Allison better. I do like her, the way she plays it better. Like now she's playing it 100% different. She's more mature. She's grown up. You know what I mean? So but I do like that. I like Helena. You know, I like Helena as an actress. I love her. I love her. If y'all haven't had a chance, take a look at my video where I point out that Helena is autistic and on the spectrum. I know I got a lot of slack of people getting mad at me by saying that.
Did you?
Oh, how could you say that? How could you say she's autistic? I think it's clear that she is. I don't think that it's even debatable or anything, but you can check out my video. How about you? When you looked at the character, did you think, I'm trying to put you on the spot, you gotta agree with me in my video or anything like that. Did you see that there was something going on with her? Do you think that possibly she could have been autistic?
She does display features of autism. Like, that's just facts. She does. But she's also a dreamer. So she's got like those two things going for her. She's having prophetic dreams, but it also is showing those symptoms of autism, like the way she didn't like to be touched, or the way she just says things that aren't socially appropriate. You know, like when they were at the dinner and she's like, "It's fine getting married. You know, he mostly just ignores you, except for like when he's drunk." You know, just saying things like that aren't appropriate at the time. I could see it.
Highly focused on one thing when she's doing it. Like you see her eat at the table, she's got her thing, and she's just playing with it like it's a tablet, and she's playing with it. But she's got the spider, she's focusing on that. She's not, you know. But when it comes to prophetic visions, we'll talk about it. You know, it comes down to when you get these visions in this world, they're not. You don't just have them; they're given to you. Someone's showing you something. Like to me, it's the last green seer in the werewood tree that's giving the visions to you. So with anyone, like when Danny's the dreamer, in my theory and everything, got the dreams, she just didn't have these dreams. They were being sent to her from the person in the last werewood green seer sent her this stuff because he's seen the future and seen it was going to blow up and told her that. That's where I see prophetic visions in this thing. Even when we seen Bran with a Hodor, we've seen that Bran warged Hodor in the past to cause him to go into a seizure that made him stuck because he showed him his own death. He seen himself dying, and that made him stuck on the hold the door situation that he later found himself in, and why he started saying Hodor. If you looked at Hodor back then, and people seen him, didn't know all that stuff that went on with him, they would say that Hodor is mentally ill. Something happened to him. All he says is Hodor. He acts slow, like he acts like he's a slow person. But it was Bran that caused him to do that. And I think the same thing could be said about Helena. Like, I do believe she's autistic. I think she was born with that. They just don't know what to call it because they don't know what it is. But it could also be a reflection from the dreams that she's been given of these prophetic visions, and that could be a reason why she's like that.
And let's not forget too of the I don't know the right word, but they mix they're inbred.
Mhm.
So they're prone to have all sorts of, issues. So I mean, being autistic wouldn't be so far fetched because her kids, one of them was born with six digits and six toes.
I mean, when we seen the picture of Rhaenyra's child, when they showed it, it was a dragon baby. It had
Yeah.
dragon scales on it and everything else. I don't know. I
They
wish I
could have
could.
made it more dragony. They could have made it quite obvious, but it was
I
very
think they
subtle.
hit it. I think that was the problem, was that they hit it. Thank you for the super chat, Kelly Johnson. It says, break down the children of the forest helping destroy Valyria. All right, I will do that for you right now. You can see that by watching the video.
You gonna redo the video right now?
I won't go over that all far, but you can see that I done it. But it was the children of the forest who destroyed Valyria for the fact that they wanted Aegon the Conqueror to come to Westeros to stop Harren the Black from chopping down the weirwood trees and building Harrenhal and setting the whole plan in motion. I believe that it's not Bran that's sitting on the Iron Throne in the end of Game of Thrones, that he's been body snatched by the last Green Seer, and that's actually a Children of the Forest that's on the throne of Westeros at the end. But that's what it is, basically, in a nutshell. Go watch that video. So it'd be too much for me to go into right now and own this thing right now. So, but that's basically what it is. It wasn't, they summoned them there. It wasn't like it was Dany's just got these dreams. It was the last Green Seer on the Iron Throne. You want to say it's Bloodraven, you want to use that name, fine. But to me, it's not Bloodraven, because Bloodraven was overtaken. He was body snatched. They body snatched everyone. That is the reason why he is called the last Green Seer. Last Green Seer means last. It means nothing comes after him. That's the end of it. So he was the last Green Seer, convinced Bloodraven to come out there, body snatched him, stole his body, and when he needed a new body, he did the whole thing to get Bran to come up there to snatch blood, to get Bran's body, and that's exactly what he did. And that's how he escaped that tree and everything else. And Bran got stuck in that tree, and Bloodraven and all that body and withered away and died. And last Greens. That's why when you hear Mira say you died in that tree, when she says that to Bran, to me, like, you died when you're up in that tree, he did. That's why when Bran was talking, it looked like he didn't even know who she was and everything else, because it's not him in there. It's not the same Bran. Bran's dead. It's not him at all. It's the last Green Seer that overtook his body, and that was it. That's the way I see the whole thing and all that. So go check out those videos. It's all in there. The video's been done. I mean, actually, I've been up here for almost 10 goddamn years now. Almost 10 years. Next year will be 10 years, and I'll do a blowout thing for 10 years and everything else. So, and all that good stuff. So, everything else. Thank you again for the super chat. Kelly Johnson, T Hammer means something different from where you're from. No, I don't think so.
Hammer?
Yeah.
I wonder, what does it mean where you're from, Kelly Johnson?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Oh, well, if you're talking about the spell itself, the Hammer of Water and everything else, to me, the children, that's how the children blew up Old Valyria. They used the spell, the Hammer of Waters, to blow up which the Hammer of Waters is just an earthquake. Mm-hmm. They just, it is given a special name, just like he calls, alligators, lizard lions. You know what I mean? It's fucking alligator. There's an earthquake under the water that causes a tsunami, and that's what blew up Valyria, and that's what's causing the children of the forest. That same thing that they did to break the Armor Dome, same thing that they tried to do and flooded out up in the north and stuff, and it didn't work that time because they didn't have enough blood sacrifices. Because they have to have blood sacrifices in order to do it. Enough blood, and it must be spilt for them to do these things, and that's how all that magic works. That's why they would hang entrails and trees and all this stuff, because it's all about the blood. If they don't have enough blood, that the power doesn't work, and everything else like that. So Tony Sled, what are you saying here? John, have anything to say? And Tony Sled, they hired the Faceless Men. I don't know what you're talking about in that situation with the Faceless Men. But
Sure.
Faceless Men didn't exist back when Valeria was up there, so they didn't do it. And that's what you're saying, but I don't understand. I just jumped into that conversation. Anyway, back to House of the Dragon. We're gonna go on a little bit longer, and then we'll cut this off and everything else. But let's play the video again for people who've just gotten here and hasn't had a chance to see the deleted scene.
War is coming. We must collect Raina and leave Dragonstone at once.
And go where?
The safety of High Tide.
High Tide won't be safe. The Greens will assume we'll declare for
Be
Rhaenyra.
safer than Dragonstone.
If war is coming, it's coming for all of us. We cannot hide from it.
I've suffered too much loss, Baylor. I could not endure another.
I am a dragon rider. Like my mother and father and you. If the Greens reach to usurp our Queen's throne, then they must be answered with fire and blood. Do you think I jest?
I just saw my daughter for the first time in years.
Beautiful scene. I think that, I first discovered this actress when she played in Nurse Jackie. Is the first time I ever seen her. She was in Nurse
Oh,
Jackie.
she's a Nurse Jackie?
Yeah, she was the
Rainey's?
yeah, she was a surgeon. She was a surgeon. She
Oh.
was Nurse Jackie's best friend. She had all the money. She had black hair then and everything else.
She should have black hair now, to be perfectly honest. but
Yeah, she should have black hair.
that's another conversation.
It's a conversation to have right now. Do you think that would have been better if they gave her black hair? They should have, in all honesty.
I think I understand why, just for non-book readers, just to keep it simple. Okay, all Valerians and Targaryens just have silver hair. So, just to not confuse people. But she has like jet black hair.
Well, all Baratheons, that was the whole thing, right? Ned Stark's claim to why Joffrey was not Robert's son was that through the whole histories, that every Baratheon has black hair.
The seed is strong.
She's a Baratheon. She even talks to her cousin during the tournament, and gives him her laurel. And his hair is black. So I think they should have done her with black hair and gave her a streak.
Yeah.
Just gave her like a streak of that gold hair. Silver hair.
That would have been awesome.
And I wish that hair was silver, not this white hair. I don't like the white hair. I'm gonna say so.
And I don't like how the Valerians' hair doesn't match the Targaryens' hair. Like the colors are off. I just wish it was so much more similar.
Yeah, because they can have gold hair too,
Yeah.
and everything else.
Or they can have like gold silver hair.
Yeah, I mean, they not this white shit though. This powder puff hair that they have that looks like the founding fathers' wigs. Like I don't like that, the Ben Franklin look. To me, that's
does.
this thing. Why not silver? They're supposed to have silver hair. Why didn't you do the straight silver hair? See, this is why I need to be hosting these panels, people. Because I'm telling you, if I'm hosting these panels, I'm gonna bring these questions up. I'm not gonna bullshit with them. I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna say, oh my God, how are you doing? I'm gonna say, listen, man, I'm a fan here, man. And I want to know, why didn't you make the hair? So what was the problem? Was it the wig department? Was it something? Was it photographer? Tell me, why couldn't the hair be silver? like it's a poster guy, like Storm. Like and I would have said, why couldn't you pull off the purple eyes? The damn Witcher pulled off the purple eyes perfectly for a cheaper budget. Motherfucker, you got $45 million a year. Why ain't you give me some purple eyes in these motherfuckers?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you do this? These things to me matter, and I don't understand why they wouldn't have been able to pull that off and everything else. Phil
They need a
Issue Guy.
wigologist.
Phil Issue Guy is in the chat. He should be on the stream, but he decided he don't want to be with us, Christina.
Why, Phil? Why?
He don't want to hang out with us and stuff like that. And he says her wig father's hair makes her look a little bit much like Carol from The Walking Dead. It should have been silver or black. 100%. It should have been silver, man. Silver. It should have been. The Targaryens are known for silver hair and purple eye, not white. No, it's not Santa Claus. I really would like to know why they decided to go with the white hair. I really don't understand it. I don't. I mean, if you want to say the purple eyes is, you're gonna say you can't afford it. Of course you could afford it. I don't want to hear that shit. But if you just want to say you just didn't want to do it because they didn't do it in the show, why not the silver hair? Why couldn't you pull the silver? Because I've seen women out here, older ladies with silver hair, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's just like any other color. You just color the wig.
Yeah, I don't know
The color
why.
that you want.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have done the silver hair. And what's my man Fernandez T in the building, rocking with us? I haven't seen him in a little bit. He's been missing the streams lately, Fernandez T and stuff like that. And we're gonna go for at least 15 to 20 more minutes. I'm gonna grab another drink. Christina's gonna hold down the fort until I get back. You got that?
So I see. Let me scroll up. Hi, I'm Allison. You said that Rhaenys' hair color could have changed the whole story. Do you mean because if she had dark hair, then no, that wouldn't explain those strong kids' hair because they're not related in that way. So I wonder what you mean by her hair could have changed the story. I think it would have been cool to see. Hi, Fernandez T. I think it would have been cool to see a Targaryen with dark hair because they did exist, especially all Baratheons. All Targaryens / Baratheons always had black hair.
You are correct.
Let me connect the dots. No, because the strong kids aren't her grandkids.
No, so the whole thing with the Strongs and how if they change, is she saying that if they changed that color that it wouldn't have worked with the Strongs? It would.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to better understand what Allison meant.
She said
they are her grandchildren, but the Strongs aren't her grandchildren. She's their cousin.
And two, it would have been. This is the reason why you put black actors in that position. It wouldn't have mattered. You know that baby ain't black. I mean,
to make it quite obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it wouldn't matter about the hair. You could look at the baby ain't black.
And even if there is Baratheon blood in the Targaryen line, which there is, you can't justify these brown-haired kids.
Well,
brown and black are two totally different colors.
Baratheons, thank you so much to Barris Adelaide for subscribing. I truly appreciate it. Baratheons are Targaryen bastards. Let's understand that's what it is. All right. The Baratheons are nothing more than Targaryen bastards. When you look at Boris, we know now it's Boris Baratheon, but when he was just Boris, you know his last name before he married. But no, he was Boris Baratheon. I'm sorry. Was it Baratheon?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was Boris Baratheon. He was the half brother of Rhaegar. Rhaegar, not Rhaegar. Oh my God, Aegon the Conqueror.
Aegon, yeah.
Right, they have the same father. Right, so that is what it was. So he was a bastard of the Targaryens, basically. You know what I mean? It was never established that he was legitimized or anything. So when you look at that line starting with Boris Baratheon, they are Targaryen bastards. So they have the blood, half of the blood of old Valyria in them. Right? We don't know who his mother is or anything else, but from whatever we've seen, that is just what it is. So Targaryens have always been that. They have Oris. I'm sorry, that's a Boris.
Oh yeah. You're right. It is Oris. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going along with Boris too.
Where Orlo? I'm sorry.
Boris is the more recent one
I
we saw
fucked
in
you
the
up.
show.
I fucked you up on that too.
I didn't even catch it. I was just like, Boris, yes.
Yeah, Boris. It sounds good.
Boris.
That's what it sounds good. It ain't far off, motherfucker. Thank you for the super chat, Kelly. I truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate you, Kelly, man. Super chat. It means a lot. It means a lot. You know what I mean? Per Spoon, he says, I'm mixed. My father's black, and I turned out to be the whitest of my siblings. All right, so I have to look at that two ways. You're mixed? So that means that your mom is most likely white. All right, and your dad is black, and you turned out to be the whitest of your siblings, right? I'm the darkest one of mine. I have two black parents that are same complexion as me, but my brother and sister are red bones. All right, they look like Christina, and they both got green eyes. You know what I mean? We got the same parents. This is the way it is in the black race.
Yeah, we come out in all shades and colors.
Yeah, you don't know what you're gonna get.
You don't know what you're gonna get. I have 4 kids, and they're all darker than me. Not one of them, not a single one is as bright as me. They all are brown skinned. And I birthed these children. I grew them in my womb, and none of them have the same color as me.
Yeah, you just don't know. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So that's the way it goes with black people. But you still have features. Like my kids' mom is white. I have 2 daughters with the same woman. That's all my kids I have. And my kids are very pale, light, right? I'm not dark, so they're pale, they're light, but you could see, if you see them, you know they black. They don't look like white people. They
look mixed.
Yeah, you could say, like, there's no way you could look at them and say that there's something wrong. You know, kind of like with Puerto Rican. You know, Puerto Rican people are mixed. You know what I mean? Black people and Taino Indians and stuff like that. You kind of look like Puerto Rican people. It's kind of look like black people. And Dominicanos look like mixed black people. You know what I mean? Because that's what they are and stuff like that. Because the real Spaniard is nothing but an Anglo-Saxon and stuff like that. So that's what you get that whole mix from and everything else. But that being said, I do think that it would have been better if they did give her black hair. You could have explained it. I think you have to give the audience a little bit more credit that they can establish this. They don't need to see that hair to know she's a Targaryen. Like you to me, you're dumbing it down for the audience. Like, we're just gonna make her hair this color because we want you to follow the story. The people who are following the story will follow it, and they'll get it. And if you needed anything, you could have, just like Dark Star has a streak that all the girls like because it has that streak in there and everything. Oh, Dark Star, he's got a streak of silver hair. But a guy is in the books like for 5 seconds. And everyone talks about this fucking Dark Star like he's something special.
He's so hot.
Everyone, oh, Dark Star's hot. He's got
Dark
the
Star.
He's got the streak. You could have gave her the streak, you know what I mean, and the hair and everything else, and all that. So it could have been done like that. That's the way I would have done it and everything else for the show.
I see lots of comments about people talking about their siblings and having different shades of brown or bright skin, such as myself, which I understand. But in this case, with the Baratheons and those strong boys, whatever was ever Baratheon blood mixed into the like main Targaryen line?
I mean, no, because Boris married. Well, there was a Baratheon that did marry. Yes, so his the grandmother, right? I don't know what that would be to Boris. Maybe his grandchild. was in there with Mary, because that was what when Robert took the throne. They said that Robert's grandmother was a Targaryen, and that gave him the right to take the throne because he had Targaryen blood. But he already had Targaryen blood because he was a Baratheon, and Baratheons had half Targaryen blood from the beginning. But they said it was his grandmother, do believe, that was that was a Targaryen.
Okay. So if there is some, even if there is some Baratheon blood in the Targaryen line, it just honestly, it just doesn't explain these brown-haired kids. You're not going to have black hair and make brown.
No, the strong line doesn't have shit to do with it. So that's the whole thing. It's just a whole.
I mean, from Rhaenyra's line, like
Yeah.
there's no precedence for brown hair.
No, none. And then Rhaenyra's line, no. You look at all the kids that came out of her father. You look at all the kids and everything else. You look at all the kids that came out of anyone in the Uncle Damon, husband Damon, anyone that came.
Yeah.
They all had these white hair babies. There was no brown hair at all in there. And again, they have a look. You can just look at them. Like when you look at Aegon, you look at Aemon, they look like Targaryens. These babies
Yeah.
don't look black. Like they would have to look black. You have to see something. There's nothing black at all or anything else like that, you know. Crystal is saying, look what she's saying here. Let's take a look. I am half Korean and half American. So I have white skin. My mom is South Korean and my dad is white. Yeah, I know a lot of half Korean women, myself and everything else. I used to hang out with a bunch of Korean people in my life. I was very, very affiliated with those. I was.
You all wrapped up in the Korean culture?
I was. So there was a Korean, like my friend Mike Mack put me on to it, but there was like, I would say there was a Korean mafia called the Fu Chang and Flushing and Queens, New York. I mean, you could just Google it and look it up and you'll see it. But I was very good friends with all of them. My man Young Jay, this girl I used to date back in the day, Ji Young, and everything else. So I was very, very much affiliated with them and everything else. So I know a lot about Korean culture. Not a lot, but I know my man Mike Mack. He was 100% a white dude who speaks Korean fluently, like just from hanging out with them and everything else. And he introduced me to everybody and stuff. You know what I mean? That was it. Fernandez T. What was the deleted scene about Teflon TV? Was any? You didn't see it? I played
You
it.
must have missed it.
All right, let's do it for my man Fernandez T. Let's play it again because Fernandez T is my boy. So we'll go with it. Here's the deleted scene for Fernandez T.
War is coming. We must collect Rhaena and leave Dragonstone at once.
And go where?
Safety of High Tide.
High Tide won't be safe. The Greens will assume we'll declare for
Be
Rhaenyra.
safer than Dragonstone.
If war is coming, it's coming for all of us. We cannot hide from it.
I've suffered too much loss, Baylor. I could not endure another.
I am a dragon rider. Like my mother and father and you. If the Greens reach to usurp our Queen's throne, then they must be answered with fire and blood. Do you think I jest?
I just saw my daughter for the first time in years.
I love it. She's like my baby, my grandbaby want to burn people.
I like how Bella was like, "You think I'm playing?
Yeah, you just think I'm just think I'm
You
fucking
think
with
I'm
you.
joking?
You think I'm fucking with you, girl.
I'm ready to go kill all of that. Like burn the whole shit down, Grandma.
He's just like,
Let's
"You
go."
think I'm fucking with you. Do you think I'm fucking? She's like, no. And she's like, my grandbaby girl, you wanna go burn some people down? Come on, let's go burn people together.
She's like, "No, I don't think you're joking. I'm just so proud.
I'm so proud you want to burn.
I'm so
people
proud of you right now. You just want to be a little killer."
No, you just you little mass murderer, you.
I like that though. I love her personality because if you combine Raina and Damon, like you're gonna get a fiery kid.
Oh,
right?
you would think so, right?
Like you're gonna get a kid that's ready to pop off at a moment's notice.
My homegirl Mara up in the building right now. And if you ladies are looking for sexy lingerie to wear, check out Mara Chase, who has a sexy lingerie
Ooh.
black owned business live, and you can get all that. She got all that sexy stuff in there for you. So you want to put on
You've been
some
in there, you've been
lingerie?
checking it out.
I have been checking it out. I have been checking it out. And I'm saying that, you know, if you want to do that, you know, turn your man on. You know what I mean? Do a little strippy tease. I don't mind a strippy. I like it.
Little strippy.
I don't mind a strippy. Give it to me. Strippy for me. You know, go to Mara Chase's line. Go find her on Twitter and go find her line and buy high quality stuff going. High quality. Everything else. You know, another thing. Oh, I keep thinking about it. Do you think like it to me? Do you think like she's like I've endured too much loss, and I can't take anymore.
I think that's important to show her reluctance to join the cause because she has lost a lot. Like she lost both of her kids. Her husband for fucking like 6 years, his ass was gone. He's back on his deathbed. Like she suffered a lot. So I could see where she would be reluctant to join in because she just now all she has is her granddaughters left.
Yep.
And so I could see where she would be like, no, let's just run away. Let's go to Driftmark and just hole up, you know, lock ourselves in and just let this shit blow over.
The granddaughter's right. Like if the war's coming, it's coming for us. We gotta be on the offense.
You have to declare for Aegon or you're an enemy. So no matter if you're holed up at Driftmark, you're still on Team Black if you're not Team Green.
And I want to make sure because Mara sounds, I'm not saying she's selling stripper clothes. That's not what I meant when I said strippy. I was saying if you want to do a strip tease for your man, she's not selling stripper clothes. It's not clothes for the pole. She's selling high quality lingerie for you to wear in your house. People want to turn on. She ain't, you know, you ain't gonna be able to go on the pole, go upside down on this motherfucker. Maybe. But that's what it's not meant for. This is high quality stuff. And right there is the site right there. www.jamarried.com. Right there. All right. There you go. What you know, this is, all right. So I just think you think it was right for her son to pull that shit off with her and not tell her what the fuck is going on.
For who to do what?
Her son. You think it's right that he just fucking faked his death to flee so Rhaenyra can marry her uncle?
I think it was totally fucked up not to tell his mom. So you just leave her believing that she just lost both her kids, they're dead. His mom knows he's gay. She said it several times. Mm-hmm. Like she's fully understanding his situation. So he could have come to her and be like, look, mom, turns out I'm just going to bounce. You know, I got my guy, Carl. We're just going to go to Pentos or someplace and just relax and chill. But I'm okay. Don't worry about me. You know, I'll send ravens every now and then. And
it's so, again, when we talked about Rhaenyra being selfish of him. So selfish to say, listen, I'm going to let my mother believe I was burnt up in the fucking fire after what she's been through, just so I can go off and shag with some dude somewhere else.
Like his sister just died. Just died.
It wasn't like it was 2 years ago. She just died. You know what I mean? Like, dude, have some respect. You know, for your mother. I mean, this to come up, and the reason, what was the reason? When they hatched this plan, they must have said, listen, you want to fuck this guy. I want to marry your wife. I can't marry her while you're alive. I mean, him and Damon talking. So I don't want to kill you. All right. Did he give him like an ultimatum, like you run off with this guy or I'm going to have to take you out? You know, did he give him that type of ultimatum? If he did, then you could understand. Obviously, they don't want to show anything like that because it was a big shock and everything else. And when dealing with the book situation here, in the book, it's put out there that he's dead and that Damon possibly killed him. Now, whether this is the true story that's the story that we know. The book is from a maester who heard the story. So they wouldn't know the exact details. It would just be what's publicly known, which is the same thing that we get in the show. What's publicly known is that he's dead, not in the same way, but he's died. So would it be some situation, I just don't think it would be right for him to do that situation. I think he should at least came clean, left a note, said something like, hey, I'm all right, Mom, I'm gonna be okay. I'll speak to you later. I'm just going on.
Because what could they say or do? They can only just be like, okay, son, we love you. Have fun in Essos. There was no harm in letting them know. Which I thought when I saw Rainey's like crying over his burning body in the fire, I was like, this is so fucked up.
Yeah, what?
Like, I can't imagine losing 2 kids back to back, and then one actually wasn't dead. They're just pretending and didn't even like tell me.
100%. I also would have liked to see the Valerians with an afro. Not everyone has to have dreads. All right, this is not what it is in the Black community. We all don't have goddamn dreads. You see, like, to me, and I'm being honest about it, this is where I see it. It's trying to make it more accepting. Wait. I only have 7 likes on this video. Come on, man.
What?
Are you serious? Only 7 likes on this video?
There's more than 7 people watching right now.
Can we please get those likes up? That's really terrible. I mean, honestly, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Oh.
That being said, again, let me say it. Not everyone, people say the island people, not everyone on the island got dreads. Go to the island. I show you a million people. And not everyone is holding dreads down there. Black people have afros. We have all different types. We have mohawks. We have all different types of styles of hair. I don't like the one style of hair, like trying to be more acceptable who they are because they have these dreadlocks. They should have had some of them with dreadlocks, and you should have had some of them with different types of hair and stuff.
But they do, Tony.
Who?
Some have dreadlocks, like Raina has dreadlocks. Bela doesn't.
I'm talking about the men specifically.
Oh.
Every man has dreads.
All the guys do have dreads.
There was not one guy who didn't have goddamn dreads. Not one.
Yeah.
Every guy had goddamn dreadlocks. Everyone, like, they grow like that. Newsflash.
It's just natural. Your hair just walks up.
They grow in dread. Newsflash. Dreadlocks don't grow like that, right? You have to make it's a style that you have to do to make your head dread up like that. It's just not the way it is. It'll just grow out in dreadlocks.
I wonder what other hairstyles they could have done for Black people that would have been believable.
You could do a straight afro, a nice afro.
You want to see a Valerian afro?
I should have fucked in. I would like to see that shit like Lionel Richie's in the Commodores, like a real one, like a Jackson 5 afro.
Oh,
like
God.
a real motherfucker afro. I would look and see a real fucking blowout.
Yeah,
like
Salvador San didn't have dreads.
No. I would have liked to see a real fucking blowout. They should have had that shit lit like that.
Or maybe like a press and curl, like Cat Williams.
No. I don't want to see no Jerry.
Straighten it.
I don't want to see no Jerry curl. I don't want to see no Cat Williams shit. I want to see some ethnic Black shit. Period. You know what I mean? You could even have someone with baldies, and just gave their eyebrows the white instead. You know what I mean? There's a Lionel Jefferson. You want to see a George Jefferson with the receding hairline? Africa, that would have worked too.
Sonic, your boy, said he would have been up there looking like Cisco.
I gotta see give me a Cisco.
I'll take a Cisco.
Give me a Cisco. Not everybody had to have dreads. I thought it was kind of the dreads was trying to make it more acceptable. You know what I mean? Not every black guy got dreads. Everyone in the house got dreads. Everybody. And they all got good hairlines. And that, this is not facts. This is not the way it works in the real world. And everything else like that. I would have they should have just did what they did. Like when Leonard cut his hair, it was the first time you seen anyone without dreads. It was the first dude you seen. And it didn't look bad at all. You still knew he was a Valyrian. You still knew he had blood from old Valyria because of it. So you could have had a couple of someone show up like that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You could have did
Could have been some better styling options.
Well, hopefully, I know that from Costume Co. Heidi, that the person who's doing I think the costume is not returning. It's going to be somebody else.
Oh, really?
Yes, and we also have, we're going to have right now Ryan Kondo is going to take over the show and be the head showrunner instead of Mr. Miguel Sapochnik. It's going to be Ryan Kondo's show and everything else. So it should be a different, maybe with him, with Ryan 100% at the helm, we'll get a little bit of different stuff going on here. Maybe we'll get some changes and everything else like that.
So I have a question for you.
Yep.
That's completely off topic.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about them changing Alicent's motivation from book to show for putting Aegon on the throne? Because in the show, she just she misunderstands Viserys.
Yep.
And that's why she changes her mind. But in the book, that's not the case. She's like hardcore Aegon king. So do you think that was a good change?
So I don't. I think it was, to me, it was making the Greens and making her more of not the evil person. Like, she truly believes that he said that he wants their son on the Iron Throne. When in the books, the books, we have to look at it. We're not privy to everything that we see on the show because it's just the Maester's take. He wasn't in the bedroom. I guess he never heard that rumor or anything else like that, So I think it just makes them trying to make them more gray, trying to make people not look at them as the enemy as much. But no matter what, they are looked at as the villains. No matter how you try to play it and try to say, oh, everyone is, this side could be right, that side could be right. Anyone who watches this show is going to say the Greens are the villains. They're the villains. They're the villains of the show. Period. Point blank. And there's nothing you can do right now to save them. Say, hey, they could be right. It's done. They're the villains of the show. They're the Lannisters of this show right now.
They're usurping the throne, flat out.
That's the bottom line. So I don't think they put that in there, I think, to try to make her not as evil as she is, and not as sinister as she truly is, after she sat there and laughed with Rhaenyra and everything was good and toast to her, but you're going to be a great queen. You're going to be a great queen.
Exactly.
You held the glass for you. Everything was good. And now all of a sudden, this is what he said. So I have no choice but to respect the king's last wishes. So to me, perfectly, I did not like it. I didn't like that the way they should have just played them for what they are.
I agree. If she's just going to be a villain, let her be the villain that she is. I mean, Rhaenyra is not some innocent little person either. Like, she does some things too that they're questionable, not the best, morally astute choices.
Mm-hmm.
But Alicent straight up was like, Aegon needs to be king. And the way that they changed it, I understand what they're trying to do. They just don't want a clear villain. They want it to be more gray, like you said, so that you could be either team green or black. Like, they're both kind of like even.
There ain't no even here. It's pretty obvious who the bad. The same thing when they did at the end, when the Jace got killed. Like, Aemon didn't want him to do it. No. And then, and he didn't want him to eat him and shit. Like the dragon just did that on his own. He couldn't control it. You know, that's the same way to try to make it look like he's not that bad. He wanted that shit to happen. That's why he went up there to do it. He went up there to do it. You know, that's just the way it goes. You know what I mean? But they wanted to play it like, oh, fuck, I didn't mean this. You know, and they gave Jace, you know, Jace, they put it out there and had Jace say straight up, you know what I mean? It's right. Had Jace go up there and say, oh, listen to me, to his dragon. Don't do anything. Make sure you listen to me and everything else. And then all of a sudden they couldn't control that dragon. Listen, a dragon is not a dog. I understand that and everything else. But still, it's still a little different. Let me take this question right here. Saying the actor Loras at the con was asked a question about magic and werewood trees, and he said he couldn't comment. That means all we'll get is a little magic mojo on it. I don't think that's exactly what he said, that he couldn't comment. I just don't think he knew, because it's not the case. He's not, there's no Laris green seer. If you ask him like he's a green seer, he has walking ability. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
This is also a guy who said that he, at the con, he didn't feel that Loras had a foot fetish. Well, let's take a look at the fact. He said, "Oh, Loras didn't have. I don't believe he has a foot fetish. I believe that he's doing it because he does it because he was able to get her to do it." Well, let's talk about it real quick. The queen takes off her shoe. You pull your dick out and start jerking off. That's a foot fetish, bro.
Sounds
I mean,
like a fetish.
I don't know what else you can say.
I don't know what else to call it. Like, this man reached completion just looking at her feet.
There's nothing else to say. I don't think she has a foot fetish. Or I mean, it's what else could it be? This is what it. Let's see. I don't have a foot fetish. She pulls her foot out. I pull out my dick. All right. You didn't have to pull a titty out. Right. You didn't have a drop her drawers and look at her ass. You didn't have a wiggly her hands in your face. What you had was her pull her shoe off. And as soon as that happened, and she started moving her toes around, you grabbed your dick. To me, I don't know. I am not Einstein. But I don't think we really need Perry Mason to come in here and figure this out. Motherfucker, you got a foot fetish. This is what it is.
I think they made it pretty clear.
I don't know if the actor's saying it.
Yeah,
but
it's pretty clear what it was about. Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious here. I mean, the only thing else she could have done is stroked his dick with her foot. I mean, that's the only thing else she could have done.
I'm trying to imagine her wrapping her feet around his dick and like trying to stroke it. He probably would have been totally down with that shit. Like, yes.
You know, so when I look at this whole situation, what this guy's saying, I don't think he has a foot fetish. Oh no? What the fuck you want to call it then?
I don't know what else to call it.
What do you want to call it? Pretty obvious. So when he says things here about these, I think it's just the actor just wishing that it was more than it actually is. You ain't got no goddamn grease seeing ability or anything else like that. I told you all, and I'll say it again. You want to talk about, I know other YouTubers make videos. I could make a video about it, and then I look like a bad guy, like I'm bashing someone's video. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just telling you, like when the rats, when they show the rats are for one reason. They're showing the rats to show you there's an infestation of rats in King's Landing. That way, in season 2, when they introduce the rat catcher, it just doesn't come out of nowhere, because now we know that there's rats there. And what was the last scene that we seen in that? We seen the rat licking blood, right? So we seen the rat licking blood, is infestation of rats. That is telling you that blood and rats like cheese are coming in season 2. That's all it means. He ain't looking through no rat eyes, seeing what the fuck is going on. He's not Arya, who's able to warg Nymeria and other from across the pond and all that. He doesn't have anything like that. We haven't seen any signs or anything else like that. The rats was just to introduce to you that there's a rat infestation inside of King's Landing, and that's why the rat catcher would be there. And the rat licking the blood is to show you that blood and cheese is coming in season 2. That's it. It's clear as day. Anyone who tells you anything else is just lying to you or trying to get views on a video, which I've done myself. So I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just telling you that's just what it is. That's what it is. And listen, this is a guy who has a club foot who gets off on women's feet. And I'm going to say this. Other people, I'm not trying to make fun of people who enjoy women's toes. You can enjoy anything you want in this world. Don't let anyone make you feel like there's something wrong with you because you like what you like. As long as it's consensual adults doing it, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Whatever it is. And that's just the way it goes. So I don't want to, in the comment section, I don't want to see these foot fetish people coming after me. All right? Don't come
foot shaming.
Yeah, don't be like, you foot shaming us. Don't come for me. Y'all do what you got, man. Y'all do what you got. But it's pretty obvious the dude have a foot fetish, man.
Yeah, I totally bought that. I agree. It was very obvious. I mean, feet come out, dick comes out. Like it was.
It's pretty cut and dry, right?
It was plain to see, yeah. Like,
and I would say it's cut and dry. Because he jerked off dry as hell. He didn't fucking pull out no lotion.
He didn't ask for any sort of lubricant.
Nothing. He didn't spit in his hand. He was, and when you're willing to jerk off like that, dry jerk, that means you're into it. I don't like
jerk.
Dry jerk, and I'm not into. I'm not into the dry jerk. That's not for me. But when you're willing to go that length, then that means you are going for it at that particular time. Like I gotta get this off. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do. It's time. The toes are out.
So that's where I can see it and stuff like that. So there was somebody say he has some oily hands. I don't know about that.
It can't be that oily.
I don't know. He had intel. He got himself prepped. No, he didn't get prepped. There ain't no prepping. He just started doing what he was doing. I think that the actor may be a little bit embarrassed himself, so he's trying to weasel around it a little bit. So I don't think it was exactly a foot fetish. Motherfucker, what was it? What was it?
Phil the Issue said the dry jerk is only for emergency situations. You just gotta jerk off real quick and you don't have access.
He could have licked his hand. He could have been like, and then did his thing. Right?
No access to any lubricant. You just gotta go for it.
He should have licked his hand or something. I mean,
you gotta do something. Little spit in the hand.
A little something. You gotta get something popping. You can't just do it. The carpet jerk.
He's a dry jerker.
You could have got popping off there. Yeah. Something going on. All right, we're gonna get up out of here. Christina, thank you for joining me. I'm gonna hang up with them. I'm gonna talk to you for a little bit after this and stuff. Thank you for hanging. Phil, if you want to come on, the stream is over. But if you want to just come on and say hi to Christina, we'll be on here for like maybe 15 more minutes privately. Just talking, shooting the shit and stuff like that, talking about life. Thank y'all for joining us. Truly appreciate it. Christina Spinks, subscribe to her channel. She's on here every Sunday. She'll be doing House of the Dragon videos and talk about stuff and everything else. And I am here right now because she could not be here this week. So that is the reason why I am doing
my place.
You know what I mean? So I'll be there. AK-47, I know that you just got out of surgery and went successfully. I hope you get better soon. Much love to the girl AK-47. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And everything else. So subscribe to Christina Spinks channel. And you know, and check her out, and we'll be back, and I'll be on her channel eventually too, and everything else. Like people around me smiling like you guys are sick. Yeah, we the fuck are. And if you want to please thumbs up the spreaders across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.